Alright, what's going on, everyone? My name is Connor. I go by Connor Unchained if you've never heard of me before. If you've never seen this channel, this video is going to be eye-opening, especially if you are new to crypto, you've never invested in crypto, you don't know what it is. I'm going to be very real with you, and also for people that have been in crypto. If you're investing in low caps, you understand how crypto works, how it moves. I'm going to be telling you guys the realistic, raw truth of the crypto market and how it moves, and honestly just how to play this game, because crypto right now is very far from real full out world adoption, although it's right at the forefront of real adoption at the same time. So we're going to start off with Bitcoin. Obviously, if you have ever heard of crypto, you've heard of Bitcoin, you know what Bitcoin is. So we're going to look into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin over the last, how many years has been out? 12, 13 now? It's launched in 2009. Ever since Bitcoin has started, ever since the first block was created or mined, Bitcoin has moved in waves, multiple waves over a span of generally around 4 years, right around that span. As you can kind of see, the chart it looks kind of like waves a little bit. We got one. If you could zoom in here, we actually can. We're going to check it out right here. It has moved in waves over the last, like I said, since it's been out. Up and down, up and down. We got a wave right here, went up, had a peak in December 2013, full out dump, and consolidation for a couple of years until it revamps, has another run up. December of 2017, 4 years later, until it comes back down for another, let's see how many years. 2018, 2019, 2020, into what? 2021. Into what? November, close to December of 2021. Just around 4 more years, it went right back up. And now, in 2022 into 2023, it's, the chart has been very bullish recently, but it has been moving in cycles. That's how, whether that's how it was programmed or not, how people wanted it to move or not, that's how it's moved. Based on these cycles, and right now, based on previous history from what we've seen, we are in this part of another cycle, supposedly, in which gains are going to be coming over the next year to year and a half. All right, and I'm going to tell you how this market really moves, because it's very volatile. Especially if you're familiar with trading the stock market or anything like that, it's literally like stocks on steroids, all right? Crypto moves very quickly, especially in certain times, certain moments in time, in a span of what? A couple months back in 2020 into 2021. Bitcoin price being at a market cap of, I don't even know, something wild, absolutely exploded. I don't know how many X's it did here. We got one. At least in between 2 to 4X. 2 to 4X, let's say from close to 10K, maybe 11K, up to 60K. So 2 to 5X, maybe 6X if you got in luckily. A little bit lower, anywhere down here, you did more than that. And this is the same idea that is going to be happening in crypto again. And it's just based on, like I said, these previous cycles. It's just how Bitcoin's operated. And every single 4 years at some point, what happens is when Bitcoin is having its halving, HALVING, the halving, what that means is that you have people all around the world that operate they operate these mining rigs for Bitcoin, in which these rigs, they solve these little math problems. Just to dumb it down super simply, what these little rigs around the world that people actually have bought themselves, and they mine Bitcoin based on verifying transactions. That is how Bitcoin operates. Because, like I said, around the world, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people own these rigs, whether it's a whole rig farm, they have an entire factory facility, or they got a couple themselves just in their closet and wherever. What that does is it gives the power to the people to verify and actually earn Bitcoin. Every single time a transaction on a block is verified, whichever miner who has one of these rigs actually does the transaction or does the verification, they get a set amount of Bitcoin. Every single time a transaction's done, every time a block has gone through, and every time that transaction goes through and the block moves, the next one continues. Therefore, underlying technology is called the blockchain. That's how it runs. And they are given a set amount of Bitcoin. And every single 4 years, the amount of money that these miners get for a reward for validating this transaction gets cut in half. This is why we see Bitcoin running in absolute waves here. Because these halvings, we're just gonna look it up on Google. I'm gonna show you guys right now. So we had one run down here, another one here, another one here, and we have a halving coming up in less than 3 months. Honestly, it should be closer to 2 months now, 2 to 2.5 months from this current literal minute. Bitcoin is going to have a halving again, in which, what does the halving do? The halving, like I said, it cuts those it cuts those rewards that these miners are receiving in half, in which has caused the demand for Bitcoin to skyrocket because people are not earning as many off their verified transactions anymore. And through the rewards, they're not earning as much anymore. And it causes Bitcoin to skyrocket. And it's happened over the last, 5, 10 plus years that Bitcoin's been operating. And this is a very dumbed down version of it, of how Bitcoin kind of moves, how it operates, and kind of why these cycles happen. But bottom line, that is how the crypto cycle, has been moving. It's every close to around 4 years. And so let's just look up, when was the Bitcoin halving? So the first Bitcoin halving was November 28th, 2012. Which, we can't even see it on this chart. But what ended up happening was, right here, we saw a price go from, it was, pretty sure it was sub $100, close to right around there for a while. And then we saw price go from sub $100 upwards of almost 1,000. And that was December of 2013. So just about a year after the first halving, price just ended up slowly mooning. And so what happened after that? It went from around $800, $900, $700, and eventually it fizzled out a year later. And now it consolidates a little low, a little bit higher than where it was initially back here before its first halving. But then again, when was the second halving of Bitcoin, which we're going to look at right there. So July 9th, 2016. So when was that? January, February, March, May, June, July. So right around here. Price is around $600 to $700. July 2016. Then what did we see just about a year to a little bit over a year later? In December of 2017. So about a year and a half. Price is at 17,000, almost 18,000 from where it was, or around $700 a year later. So we're going to look at that Bitcoin halving right now. When was the third halving? And we're going to hit search. May 11th of 2020. So when was that? So as you can see, obviously from that second halving, that was December 2017. A year later, December 2018, we're back down low. The wave is cut down. We're back down in the low point of crypto here. But so now let's find was it May of 2020? May 11th, 2020. So where was that? So this was right after when COVID was hitting. So May 11th, 2020. So right around here. And then what happened? We're going to look at May in 2021, a year later. January, February, March, April. So right around May, we're up to what? $50,000 to $60,000 for Bitcoin. When a year before that, where was it? Sitting at $7,000 to $8,000, maybe $9,000. A year after that, it did that. And if we go to a year and a half, June, July, August, September, October, November of 2021, 59,000. So this obviously went up. It had a huge dip and it came back up. But a year and a half later, we're back up again. And then what happened a year after this kind of peaked out? Let's go to December 2022. We're literally at the bottom. We're at another bottom. And so now we're going to go to the fourth halving. What happened in the fourth Bitcoin halving? Oh, well, let's say when is. Because this is the one that's supposedly coming up. 66 to 79 days from now. So, in my opinion, it's going to be in between April and May. I have a feeling it's going to be mid to late April is when this fourth Bitcoin halving is going to come up. All right, so again, we're up here. That was after this third halving came up. A year later, we're down here. So now we're looking basically to try to find where's the fourth halving, okay? And then we're going to look at a year out from the fourth halving. And then we're going to also check a year and a half out of this fourth halving. And we're going to see where Bitcoin price is. What are the chances that it follows a similar trajectory to what it's done over the last 10 plus years? You know, aside from the market looking like it still might have some downside to come over the next couple months, if it does, aside from when the halving hits until a year from that, so let's say it hits in April in 2 months, if we come back and check in April or May of 2025, where do you guys think the price of Bitcoin is going to be? In just over a year from now, do you think it's going to be at zero like your friends think? Do you think Bitcoin's going back to 10K in a year from now when history has shown that it's done the same exact thing, obviously at different price ranges with different market caps? But do you think it's going to zero in a year from now? Or do you think it's more likely to follow suit of what it's done every single 4 years for the last 3 cycles? You know, in my opinion, it's more than likely going to follow what it did over the last 10 plus years. You know, and a lot of people like to say, well, this time's different. This last time's different. Oh, back here, we had thousands of people saying, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to zero. It's over. You had the news, the literal news covering Bitcoin like it was the biggest scam. Like, never invest your money in Bitcoin. Never do anything with this joke of a currency, this joke of an asset. And then what happened? What did the news say? It doesn't matter. What did anyone else that you know say? It doesn't matter. What happened to the chart? What did Bitcoin do? It said, I could care less what your friends are saying, what the news says, and it still decided to absolutely rip. So again, aside from news, aside from anything going on in the world right now, what do you think is going to happen in a year from now? Again, Bitcoin might correct. I wish I had a pen. I could just kind of draw this out. You know, what do you think is going to happen? Is this going to go down a little bit and into 2025, middle of 2025? Is it going to be down here? Probably not. Probably not. I'm telling you right now. There's a good chance that this is way over its all-time highs, and it could be well over 100K. You know, and like I was saying in the beginning, I'm not a moon boy. I'm not out here to say and give you guys the most ridiculous targets. I'm not out here saying Bitcoin's going to $2 million in 6 months. Like, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm trying to tell anyone out here. There's a good chance that Bitcoin does follow suit to a point of what it's done in its previous 3 cycles, regardless of its market cap. You know, obviously we've had way less returns over the last few cycles because Bitcoin has grown in adoption since then. You know, you can't expect Bitcoin to pull the same amount of gains it did down here when it was tiny in market cap in comparison to now. You know, if you don't understand like what market cap is, it's kind of like the valuation of, you know, whether it's a company or the asset itself. And this is valued at close to $1 trillion, $844 billion is what Bitcoin is basically worth right now. You know, when Bitcoin was down here, you know, before the last cycle hit, it was in between the range of 200 billion to 500 billion, and it ran to multiple trillion. In I'm pretty sure that's 24. I'm like, let's see what it was in market cap. So it ran to a trillion. 1.2 trillion. So I'm sorry, not multiple trillions. It ran to around 1.2 trillion from what? So yeah, right around 200 billion. So that's about a minimum of 3x to 6x. You know, and I'm saying that, you know, because I'm not saying if you timed it, like if you got in here at 300 million, you're still getting at least 2 to 3x out of that, you know, depending on where you bought at the lows compared to the highs. You know, and in the last cycle, what did it do here? This went from 6 billion. In the last cycle at the bottom, this was at a couple billion, 3 trillion. No, not trillion, I'm sorry. 5 billion, 6 billion, upwards of what when it was actually at its peak? 325 billion. So that did let's see, if it went, let's say from 5 billion up to 325 billion here. You know, 5 billion to 50 billion is what? That's a 10x. So if you put $1,000 in, you already got 10,000 as your return right there, including your initial there. You know, that's just at 50 billion. But if we're going to get to 325 billion, let's say 5 billion times 10, 50 billion, 5 billion times 20, that's 100 billion. So we just triple that. 5 billion times 30, that's going to be 300 billion. So if you put $1,000, when Bitcoin was down here, if you put $1,000 in, regardless of the news, regardless of anyone talking to you about crypto, if you just bought in when no one was talking about it, when no one believed in it, when everyone thought it was a scam, when everyone you know thought it was a joke, you would have 30x your $1,000 and had $30,000 in the span of a year. And same thing here. If you bought in when no one believed in it, when your friends told you you're an absolute dummy for investing in this joke of an asset, if you invested down here, you would have done a minimum 5 to 6x on whatever amount of money you put in. Now, is that going to be the same for right now in the current market? You know, we don't know. But what I do know is that my belief is Bitcoin is going to follow suit, and it's going to be the same mentality. When everyone you know is still calling Bitcoin a scam, they think it's a joke, they still have no idea about Bitcoin's history, how it's done this multiple times already, regardless of news, regardless of people, regardless of anything going on. You know, what do you think is going to happen? If you put $1,000 into Bitcoin, I'm not saying this is going to be your best bet, you know, to make insane money in crypto right now, but just for simplicity purposes, if you put $1,000 in now when everyone thinks it's a joke, when people think it's a scam, when no one you know is still talking about it, what do you think is going to happen in a year from now? You're going to at least 2, maybe 3x your money. And I say that in a conservative way because of previous cycles. You know, we saw about 30x here, This we only saw 6x. You know, maybe a 2.5x here would be fairly reasonable to predict. You know, it's speculation at its core, is what crypto is. That's what you're investing in, is pure speculation. But bottom line, right? Do you want to invest when people think it's a joke? Do you want to invest when people think it's a joke? Do you want to invest here when people think it's a joke? Because then what happens? Boom. What happens? Boom. What happens? Boom. We don't even know yet, but we know it's going probably through my screen up here, right? This is in market cap. And just to let you guys know, I'm going to show you guys something too, right here. What is the market cap of, let's say, Apple, the stock? 2.87 trillion. So what is the market cap of Bitcoin? That is what Apple stock in the United States is valued at. Close to $3 trillion. So that is one US company. What is the market cap of Bitcoin itself, which is the king of this entire asset class? 844 billion. So for Bitcoin just to reach the market cap of Apple's stock, like, can you guys do the math with me here? So we'll just make it very simple. 840, let's just say 800 billion. So we're going to do 800. We're going to do times, let's say, 3 points. Let's just do 800 billion times 3. What am I doing, bro? 800 billion times 3. So that would make it 2.4 trillion. So that's a minimum, a 3x just for Bitcoin. Well, it's going to be more than a 3x because this is 2.8. But for Bitcoin itself, the entire asset class, not the entire crypto asset class, but Bitcoin itself, to get to still just under the size of Apple is going to be a 3x. You know, and we're talking about Bitcoin. This is the biggest cryptocurrency in the market. We're not even talking about low cap coins, you know, that have the potential of 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x, if not more than that, based on their market cap size. And again, especially if we have downside here, if this goes under 750 billion, even upwards of like 600 billion in market cap, which in price, what would that be? In between 30 to 40K, let's say 35K. That is my target for God entries for crypto. If you get into the market, especially if it dumps more and continues, which I personally expect it to. But again, even if it doesn't, there's still great entries that we'll come across over the next few months. But bottom line, if you're buying in now, what do you think is going to happen? Especially if you're getting into smaller cryptos with great fundamentals. You can only imagine the gains that are going to come out of it, that are going to come out of a speculative asset class where what is the entire crypto market cap? Market cap 1.73 trillion. So crypto as a whole, as an asset class, you know, is maybe 60% of the size of the Apple company, of one US company. What do you think will happen when institutions, even though a lot of them are already getting in, but what do you think is going to happen when the masses of people get a grip on what crypto is, they understand it, they know how to use it now? You can only imagine the size of this entire asset class. We're not talking about one business here. Crypto is a whole asset class with thousands of startups basically and projects in this space. You can only imagine the moves that crypto can make based on how tiny it is in comparison to the real world of finance. Like, that's what I want you guys to understand about crypto and why it moves the way it moves. It's so volatile because the asset class itself is so tiny, and it's been moving in waves based on what Bitcoin's done in its history, regardless of anything that's happening in the world, you know. And everyone thinks it might, but it's been programmed to do what it does, and it's just done that for the last 10 plus years. You know, I kind of just wanted to drill this home to a lot of people, just to understand the gravity of just crypto itself. And honestly, I'm just going to throw in here too, like I said, when it comes to crypto and speculation, the crypto market is based on speculation. There's most, if not almost all of crypto companies do not make consistent cash flow. They're not making income, and they have not withstood the test of time over the last 5 to 10 years. They're not real full out companies. Some of them are, usually the top 100, 200, they're trying to build long-term ecosystems, but many of these projects are just very simple startups that, they try to take advantage of the hype, the narratives that go on in crypto, because money moves very quick in crypto, up and down. Projects can go left and right, up and down very fast. You're investing in the speculation of the future in crypto. It's not like stocks where you're investing in a project, or when you're investing in a company, that has great cash flow that you've seen does a ton for the real world. You're investing in speculation that a project may do something phenomenal in the future, whether it's a year out, 5 years out, 10 years out. You're basically investing in the idea of new technology, specifically in the blockchain space too, and somewhat outside of it. That's how crypto moves, and it's all attention based. Full out attention is so important because, again, where the attention lies is where the money moves. That's how crypto moves. That's why you have influencers when they talk about a coin, they talk about anything, it usually will just skyrocket. Why? Because the main places people look for information on crypto is social media, usually Twitter and not Instagram. What am I saying? Twitter and YouTube are the top two. Then you got TikTok and Instagram. Usually when the bull run hits, when you start getting people that are trying to scam and pull all this BS, acting like they've been in the space for 5-10 years, when they just joined a month ago and they just want to make a quick buck off everyone in the space, and especially off newer investors. That's just how the market moves, and you have to understand that. And if you understand that it's all attention based and it's where attention is going to be, that is how you have to play this market. So just make sure you understand that when you're investing in altcoins, when you're investing in crypto. That's the key to this market. Understand that it's all attention. And like I said, we are primed for a new halving to happen within less than 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, in between that span. And again, based on the history, you guys can check this yourself. You can go to coingecko.com here, look it up right here. Look it up on Google, Bitcoin's history, check it on social media. And it's just, what do you think is going to happen again? You can listen to, your family, you can listen to your friends, listen to everyone tell you it's a joke. Or you can get in because, again, where's the attention? Right now, it's not in crypto. But when the price starts moving, where's the attention going to go? It's going to flow right into crypto. That is where money just keeps coming in from. It comes into people finally realizing, oh my God, I can make money in this. And they're going to start chucking their money in. Obviously there's many different factors too. I'm leaving a lot of stuff out with this video, but I'm just trying to be very transparent about just certain things with this market, guys. And that's how it's going to move. That's how it's going to go. You invest when the attention is at zero, and you sell when everyone is talking about crypto, when everyone you know thinks it's the biggest thing, in the entire world. It's attention based. That's how you got to play the game. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Just simple things about the crypto market. Like, I just think it's key for everyone to know and understand that, specifically before you invest. If you have already invested, I assume you know a lot of this info, if not all of this. But it's important to drill you guys, just so you understand that. So that's what I got for you guys today. And I will see you in the next video. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there and be smart investing. So I appreciate it, guys. I'll see you in the next one.